Now,
no
later
way
on,
around it.
we can do some good sound tests and everything. Go through it, kind of get it straightened
Yeah.
out for you, because you're gonna need that anyhow if you're doing like meetings and stuff with people other than this too. You're gonna have to do that.
My little window is lit up as if my mic is like saying stuff. Is
Yeah.
it like
Yeah.
still echoing or something, or feedback? Or?
It's picking up the
Or-
background audio. So
Oh, there's hard noise in here.
It's not that bad. It's not as bad as I think.
It still works.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
so
Maybe here.
You're too quiet now.
Quiet.
I think it's something that we should do off stream and
yeah, just
Yeah.
hang out and have a good time, man. Don't worry about all that. You know what I mean? If nothing else, talk whenever you're ready to talk. Unmute. You know what I mean? And then whenever you're not talking, mute. So, just stuff like that. And then, like I said, I've helped people all the time when it comes to that audio. So don't think you can't like do a share screen with me and we can kind of go through the settings and stuff. I can show you some tricks on the audio. I am pretty good at it. You know, all jokes aside, I've got to admit that. When it comes to your
one of the
computer audio.
courses, actually, funny enough, one of the courses I did do was at college many years ago. Was a audio visual video maybe
Mhm.
course.
Nobody ever thinks of that either. Like when you're in school and you're supposed to be learning that stuff and retaining it, you know, they wanted you to learn that stuff for a reason. So, poor Mr. Robot, he's a freaking computer security expert. He can't even control his mic. That's pathetic.
Yeah, it's not my fault. These apps don't work.
I was just testing your audio.
Discord has a nice little feature where you can like press a button on your keyboard and then it records the mic, and when you let the button go, then it stops.
Mm-hmm.
And that stops the echo kind of thing, which is nice.
It sounds pretty good right now, believe it or not. So whatever you did, that's good. It actually did a good job on it.
I'm just muting it manually when I'm not talking, so you can't hear yourself.
Besides, if it gets too bad, Logic can always do some post-processing on it.
Not with echoes. That's the hardest thing to replace. It's the hardest thing to get rid of. No, echoes is a pain in the butt. Now I can sync it up. Don't get me wrong, but you're still going to get an echo.
What are we going to talk about? Have we got some current events that we're interested in at the moment?
Yeah, what's your thought on Venezuela?
Venezuela. What do I think about it?
Yeah.
I don't like it, to be honest. I think that it makes more sense to me from like an ethical perspective for the US to control its own borders, which it's already kind of doing. I think the whole narrative of the drugs is bullshit because, like, you know how Trump said it's meant to be about fentanyl. Fentanyl comes from China through Mexico and Canada, not through Venezuela. So I think that's all bullshit. However, the cocaine trade has been going on from Venezuela and South America since the 70s. You know, the CIA has been funding like narco terrorists down there since. Like, I found articles dating back to the early 90s at least, probably earlier. And when I was traveling in South America, I spoke to people there that explained to me how the CIA runs their drug operations between Florida and South America, where they hire they basically rent an entire piece of the port, and then they run their own ships with their own truck crews and everything. and then they hide the cocaine in like shipping containers full of bananas and stuff like that. They hide it in the air conditioners. So I think it's like bullcrap how, you know, it's okay for the U.S. intelligence agencies to smuggle cocaine, but then they go and snap up Madero, whatever his name is, for the same thing. And I think it's just totally hypocritical and unethical. I think it's better, it makes more sense in my mind for the US to stop the import of that stuff and to start working on the actual root causes of why people demand this stuff anyway. Like, if you can't get rid of the demand, you know, then it's always going to come in. So you're either going to have to like lower the demand, or you're going to have to let it in a controlled way so that people still can get it in a safe way. You know, to try and just like ban a substance against the will of the people, it's just fucking bullshit. Kind of like, you know, totalitarianism in a way. Like, who is some other adult to tell other adults what they can and can't do? It's kind of bullshit in my mind.
How about on the other point of view?
All the war on drugs has done is create more terrorists, fund more like psychopaths that like will do anything. Whereas countries legalized drugs have totally eliminated that entire like mafia aspect. And
ignoring the drug,
I think also it's totally unethical for the US to just go and grab the oil of this country and then go and think they can now go in and, you know, take all their oil or like control their oil, the biggest oil fields on the planet and their gold and all this in order to pay off the debt that they've created over like generations. It just makes me icky, you know, because these poor fucking people are already suffering, and now you want to take their country's wealth, God-given wealth. I just think it's
it's not the US that's doing that, it's private companies doing that. After all, the US doesn't have a extreme socialist concept of these companies being owned by the state. But my other thing is, what about ignoring the drug issue for the moment, the oil issue at the moment, what about trying to eliminate despotic regimes and bringing, quote, democracy back to the country, unquote?
Well, look, now that he's gone, I'm happy for the people that they get another chance at freedom. You know, that's always a good thing. But whether they're going to actually get fair elections, it remains to be seen.
Yeah.
The stay behind people of the previous government are still in power there. I don't see them like letting up without a fight. So we don't know yet what the outcomes are going to be. Most often these things are more complicated than they initially look. And if the US somehow gets drawn into a boots on the ground situation where they actually have to send troops in, you know, could be worse than Vietnam, you know, which would be freaking not good for anyone. So,
and I'm glad I'm glad
Maduro actually wanted to make peace. He actually offered for the US to bring the oil companies in and do business and stuff like that. But I don't know why this Trump had it in for him so bad.
Now
I think part of it was like kicking China and Russia out.
Let me add something. I posted this on Nancy's website a little while ago, and Within the Vacuum on mine had shared this, and it's actually a good post. But what it was, I believe it was today. There is retribution basically for what took place with Trump and Venezuela. A lot of his top generals have actually turned against the new proxy president down there, and they have gone into basically take them out. There was gunfire that was heard in the Capitol, I believe it was. And yeah, it's getting ready to happen there.
Even more reason for elections then. to
Yep.
try and mitigate the possibility of some sort of internal civil war.
Now I'll pull up that.
Well, you gotta realize, like, Venezuela has been doing business with, like, basically every terror group, every gang group on the freaking planet for the last, I don't know, 10 years plus. So, like, they still have all these criminal organizations in there, including Hamas, including Trendy Aragua, Cartel of the Soul,
now the
huge
gateway.
organizations with guns, with psychos. So I just don't see how this like just suddenly quickly turns into a peaceful situation. It's definitely
Again,
gonna
one step at a time. One
No,
step
the,
at a
the
time.
Gateway pundit came out with it. It says breaking coup d'etat Venezuela, heavy gunfire Caracas, and there's been gunfire all over the place. So it
Again, we're in very
I
early.
saw
stage.
some video of people walking through the streets with machine guns, but yeah, I don't know.
I got the link here.
Can we bring some up? Can you like share your screen and put some stuff on YouTube up?
I'll put it in the link too for you so that you can see it. You go ahead and share it. It's an article, so it's not going to be.
I'll do a quick search on Grok as well and see if any latest things.
Yeah, keep having.
It's one of those situations that you've got to be somewhat patient about. You've got to have to wait and see how this pans out.
Yeah. But here you go. The Bolivian regime
Much like what's happening in Iran at this present moment.
The Bolivarian regime seems to be eating itself now. Monday night erupted in heavy firefight in Caracas, more specifically in areas of Miraflores, where the presidential palace is located. This comes a mere hours after the interim president, Delcy Rodriguez, was formally sworn in. Rumors have been circulating that Maduro's right-hand man, Diosdado Cabello, was planning a coup d'etat against Rodriguez. Apparently, her first decisions were not to the liking of the generals of the highly ideological Bolivarian armed forces of Venezuela. Diosdado controls many of the collectivos of Venezuela, far left, heavily armed paramilitary groups operating independently of the government. So that is what the article says.
I'm wondering if it would be wise for the next government to actually do a sort of housekeeping on the military. Clearing out.
It's what I said last night whenever we were on Nancy's show. Okay, I don't think there's going to be any kind of elections there. I think that's pipe dreams that a lot of. It's kind of. And it would be great if that would happen, but like this is very, very hostile territory. You know what I mean? Like this isn't going to be cleared up because frickin' Donald Trump sent troops down there and they took over the city.
No.
You know, it's
quite naive.
I can't see that happening. It says here the political landscape in Venezuela remains highly volatile following the U.S. military intervention. U.S. forces conducted airstrikes on key sites in Caracas and surrounding areas after they captured him. Timeline of recent events. There was obviously Maduro's capture, immediate aftermath, international